Wow.
even with Mauritania on the side.
Whew.
And and I couldn't believe it. And when I saw it, when they saw it, they said, "What?" I mean, it looks exactly like it. I didn't know
Wow.
where it come from. I had no idea where that came from. I know I
Mm.
was raised in a village that was pretty much African, and I was it never really dawned on me as a birthmark until I grew and began to see what it was. And I'm saying that looks, and then I reversed it, and it was. But the birthmark essentially is usually could be a wound. It could be the consolidation of iron, residual iron during the time of the birth cycle.
Mm.
And usually in the blood, the mother, when she has certain types of feelings, goes through certain emotions or certain things, she's tagging the baby with that experience. And sometimes her experiences, emotional or otherwise, even with joy, comes out as a quote birthmark. Now,
Mm.
I want you to see this.
Mm.
See that?
Mm.
I want you to take a look at this from now on all of the people that you see as people who are dignitaries. And I'm
Mm.
not blowing bubbles. Look at the movie stars,
Mm.
look at the musicians,
Mm.
look at the people who are politicians, and
Mm.
so forth. And I didn't know this until it was a reader that told me, look at you. He says, you see this you have there on the other? Where do you get that mole? And I said, I don't know. I've always had it. It
Mm.
grew actually after you could see it when I was young. It wasn't there. It started coming out and it became prominent. But look to people like Robert De Niro. Look to people like the brother who played the brother from another planet. Look to all these people who are doing certain things in the world, and you'll see they're tagged. Women too.
Wow. Wow.
I know that everybody said, "Well, look at Valentine, you getting his blow." No, it's just something I noticed.
Mm.
You look at people. I'm saying, what is that? Why is? And I used to say that to my mom, and my wife would say, "Ah, there's that man, that mole again,"
Mm.
and it's either on the right or the left.
Mm. Wow. Let me ask you this, Doc. What do you think about, since we're talking about souls, what do you think about the idea of soulmates or twin flames? What
Oh
exactly is
yeah,
that?
yeah, that's real. That's so real. It is. People who have an attraction for one another, they leave an indelible mark, and the scent, the sight, the touch, the sound,
Mm-hmm.
the feeling, especially if it's sex as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know if that person is your soulmate, and people say there ain't no such thing. Yes, there is. If there's someone who is for you and is searching for you and have found you, they can't be with anybody else. That's like certain animals that mate for life
Mm-hmm.
because they understand in their own consciousness, of course, birds, whatever it is, they mate for life because they understand that that's the one. And some people come back as animals. Some people they say come back as trees. And in some of the Hindu religion, you come back as a tree because you took so much from life. Now you want to give back to life.
Mm.
What does a tree do? A tree helps to keep the atmosphere breathable.
Right.
So some people are actually within trees themselves, which is why in certain cultures it was a sin to start chopping down trees.
Wow.
You see, because of what a tree really is. The tree are the lungs of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you used to breathe carbon dioxide before because you had green skin and golden blood. That
Mm-hmm.
was one of the transitional processes to where you now fell and where your blood was based in gold. Now it's lower and based in iron now,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the lower register elements on the planet, which is what true alchemy is. The changing of the lead into gold is the changing of the blood resonance consciousness in Solomon's song. You read Solomon's song in the Bible, that's all about the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And if you change your thinking process and you are able to reinvest or to reinstigate or to replant or implant or resuscitate the magnesium molecule in your blood, then you'll find that you're able to even process carbon dioxide that you breathe out the way a plant would.
Hmm.
I mean, no, and everything I'm saying, of course, is straight up occult. People think it's crazy because science, which you call science, ain't real science. That's to keep the people docile.
Hmm.
Einstein's theory of relativity is bullshit.
Mm.
It's bullshit. It's meant to keep you thinking a certain way while those who understand the truth are advancing in leaps and bounds because they're keeping the cattle thinking along a certain paradigmal structure of thinking.
So you don't mess with the E equals MC squared or
No,
you know
no. I'm dealing with Gij, comma J equals zero, which
that's
is,
the gagat
yeah, Gagut.
gagut, yeah.
Why? Because it made sense, especially in with a metaphysical mind. You
Uh-huh.
have to understand that everything comes back to zero. And this is what it is that Einstein was searching for 30 years. Dr. Oyibo gave it to him mathematically.
Hmm.
But I don't deal with mathematics when it comes to reality because mathematics, if you look at the mathematics board when they're trying to tell you what reality is, it's a
Hmm.
bunch of bullshit. All these
Mm.
little figures to tell you this. All you got to do is what? Be still and know I am.
Yo, Doc, what's up with Doc tonight, y'all? Doc got some fire to him tonight. Yo, Doc got some fire. Man, what happened? Hold on, let me take a break because we got 3,000. Doc, yo, Doc got some fire tonight. Let me share this flyer real quick, Doc. Hold on,
Tell you
man.
right.
I don't know what got into you. You got some fire with you tonight, man.
I think it was the BET Awards that got me.
Yeah, I think it made you that mad. It made you that mad. Family, we are Doc is having a rebroadcast of his webinar that he recently had. It's called Metaphysical Awakening of the Melanated Mind. And the rebroadcast will be on July 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I just shared the link in the chat where you could go to that link to the address to the web address to sign up. But as you seen earlier, there's certain things that Doc can't really touch on the YouTube platform that he touches on in depth on at his webinars.
Yeah.
So family, if you want to, and I advise you to sign up for this if you didn't sign up for the first one, because Doc goes in for about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. All right, family. So make sure you'll sign up to that webinar and show support to the brother Dr. Valentine. Anything you want to add on to that, Doc, before we continue?
Well, what I wanted to tell everyone, please remember that we are not the ones that are actually making the links for you to enter. Please make sure that you look into all the caches of your email because it's going to be sent to the email that you give to them when you sign up and you make your payment. All right. And if there are any problems, please let us know. But we sometimes I can't tell you while I'm on the air. I can't fix it. Sometimes we do have some people. Our the people who we have that are working in our admin, they have they try to stay on board to make sure that everyone is in and is satisfied. But a lot of people don't know how to even use the internet properly. They don't understand how to use the internet. And please, if you're in, please be sure that you do not raise your hand. I am not going to speak to you. Please stop raising your hand. We don't know how to shut it down, but when you raise your hand, you shut off a lot of what it is I need to read to you all. I
Hmm.
understand that you all are passionate and you want to get into it. Maybe one day, Brother Rich and I would sponsor a question and answer from the people, so we could do just an online chat to answer certain questions. But as it stands, I have to put this information down as succinctly as possible, and I can't be interrupted to answer questions. That other thing, too, beloved, I wanted to talk about the Novatech. And for those of you, listen, Novatech is put together by black folks. Okay, this is a platform by black folks. And you'll see it too. It's going to be connected to something called FTX. Okay, FTX. Everybody knows about me talking about XRP, XLM, XDC, Quant, and the rest of these. That's what I have. I mean, this is no advice, no legal advice, no commercial or whatever advice. It's just I'm telling you what I'm doing. But for you to make, say for instance, you want to make 3 to 5% every week, which is what I did, and I can tell you I did. I put in some monies, and every week I can convert that monies and then roll it back over again for the next week. You tell me what bank account you have right now that gives you 3 to 5% interest above every week, and especially since the dollar's getting ready to crash. You got to look into Novatech, and I can give you the brother's number. Just tell him that I sent you. His name is Reggie Juzang. Just Reggie is good. His number is 415, listen carefully, 756 5676. Once again, 415 756 5676. You got to remember now, there's going to be a whole lot of big name people, even people in the rap community, all the older old heads in the so-called rap community, hip hop community, are getting on board now. And if you can get a group of people together to get into Novatech family, Reggie will drive to your state to sign you up.
Mm.
And you will there he'll give you a lesson in what these black folks are doing. This black woman used to work on Wall Street. In fact, she got $10 million from some superstar actor who saw what she was doing, gave her the 10 million to get the platform going, and now she's kicking ass and taking names.
Wow.
So if you want to appreciate, because remember, I told you that the dollar is going to tank. It's got to tank. Why? Because the old system has been hoarding money, trillions of dollars, to keep this SWIFT system going. But the new XRP system, the new uh, uh, cryptocurrency system, is freeing up that liquidity so that all the money that all of the banks were holding on to that belong to other countries are all going to come back to them. And that's when all of your tokens rise. And that's when all of your monies are going to rise. I say get into gold and silver. These are the two that are going to be appreciating. Gold is going to hit 5,000 sometime down the road. Bitcoin is going to hit a peak coming up, probably go to 45, 55, 100,000, and then all of a sudden crash.
Mm.
Why? Because it was created by the CIA. That's who created it. It's created. Nobody knows who created it. They say somebody named Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah, Satoshi, yeah.
Nah, nah, that's bull. Because the name Satoshi Nakamoto actually breaks down into Central Intelligence. You saw my last webinar. I think I did 2 years ago, and I remember when my beloved brother here, Rich, told me about Bitcoin. Remember when
Hmm.
we were at the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said, "Well, tell us about Bitcoin." And I said, "Don't go with Bitcoin." I said, "Because it was created by the Five Eyes, and if the banks don't trust anything having to do with the monetary system that they don't know the origins of, Wall Street does. That's why they're pushing it. That's why only the big players are the ones pushing Bitcoin. But they're going to push it, push it, push it until it crashes. And then XRP, XLM, XDC, and all of these coins that have value, the Internet of Value, all of them that can give liquidity to your asset and cross border payments. That's what's going to be the future. You young people, start feathering your nest now. Get into XRP, XLM, XDC, Quant, HBAR. These are the ones that have value for tomorrow. Don't worry about the SEC. That's Wall Street trying to suppress the price. That's going to be over soon. All right. And I know I'm telling you a lot of things, but like I said, get in contact with Brother Reggie at 415-756-5676. Say you're interested in Novatech, and he'll give you a breakdown of what it is. He's a real excitable brother. He's on a mission, and I support him after I've done my due diligence with him, and I'm seeing the benefits and the profits as a result.
All right, family. We got about 20 minutes left. I'm gonna take some Q&A from the people. Once again, family, I just shared the link for the webinar Doc is having on July 17th. Shout out to King Simon. I seen King Simon in the chat a little earlier. I don't know if the brother's still there. We got about 3,200 people in the chat room right now. Let me get to this question. I was gonna ask a question, and it just popped out. Mr. Valentine, can you explain soul traveling? What's that, brother? Soul traveling.
Well, you're talking about leaving your body, out of body experiences, having your consciousness, which is actually a residual imprint of your spark on the soul. The soul sits on the heart, in the heart. So if you're talking about soul traveling, you're talking about your heart essentially holding on to something that it's
Doc is frozen right now.
no, yeah, they're trying to shut me down.
Yeah.
Since the soul sits in an area called the sino-auricular node,
In the
which is
heart.
in the heart.
Yeah.
If you were talking about soul traveling, you're talking about the soul essentially um, actually searching for something that you have not yet been given a satisfactory answer for.
Hmm.
Usually, when you find yourself dreaming, for example, they call it dreaming or dream walking. They're
Hmm.
calling it dream walking nowadays.
Hmm.
When you find yourself in places that are vivid, these are and you're saying, well, this thing looks familiar, or I find myself in this place and I've never seen it on TV. I don't know what this place is. Well, you are actually going back into the mitochondrial library of your experiences, and your soul is searching through that archive for something that you had as an intention. And everything is intention.
Hmm.
Even your soul traveling, it's an intention. It's a need. It's a requirement or something that is a passion or some kind of appetite that you have not yet fulfilled. Anything that causes you to travel outside of your body means that your body hasn't gotten you there fast enough. So it has to leave the body to see if it can get to the place where you feel you need to be, but feel that you're not.
Mm. Mm. Let's get to the next question. Can Doc talk about the Polaris star and the Northern Lights, aka the Soul Stream?
Well, that's a good one. The Polaris is the center of the chandelier.
Mm.
What do I mean?
Yes.
The dome spins, and you can see that it happens at such a slow speed that you don't see it happening. But the spinning of the dome is almost it's essentially we live in what is known as a gigantic cyclotron, and the sun and the moon are the active parts of the magnetic and electrical energies that maintain the atmosphere that we're in. Remember, we're in a closed atmosphere. Polaris is the center point where the revolution of the energies that we have, the energy signatures that we have, that keeps us alive, that keeps the terrarium that we live in active. It keeps the energy flowing. Remember, everything is movement. Everything that we're dealing with has to do with a flow. You stop it, everything becomes stagnant. That means death. What happens to just to give you a for instance, what happens to a flowing stream that gets bottled up and can no longer flow? What happens to that water? Oh, well, I keep it's like me teaching my class. What happens is it stagnates and then becomes a swamp and then becomes fetid, and that water and everything around it dies. Well, Polaris is the center star. In fact, okay, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, honey. I'm on the air, sweetheart. Yeah, I'll call you right back, baby. That was wifey. What was I saying? Yeah, Polaris essentially is if you look at the British flag, they call it the Union Jack. Well, that Union Jack is essentially the symbol of Polaris because they say that the Great Britain is the 0 point on the latitude and longitude. So Polaris is supposed to be the North Star, but it's the center point that doesn't move, and everything centers around it, which shows that we are in an enclosure.
Mm,
We are not swimming or hurtling through space at 65,000 miles an hour while the clouds are standing still. It's ridiculous. So, if you're dealing with the northern lights and the soul stream, what you're looking at when you see the stream, you're not looking at the stream. If you've ever watched a stream flow, you could see thousands of different ways and shapes that the water takes as it bounces over rocks or it takes on different, sometimes it pools and goes into a whirlpool and then keeps going. Well, as everything as the dome rotates, what you're looking at is the hieroglyphics that was set in place that beamed down certain configurations that matched your brain. If you look up at the skies, you'll see that it matches succinctly the electrical patterns in your brain. The
mm,
star clusters and the star configurations match the way your neurons work.
mm,
So what you got is a synergy, a synergism. And of course, your soul is interacting with that because the brain essentially is controlled by the heart, and the heart itself, there's a brain in the stomach, a brain here in the heart, and a brain up here. This one is the spiritual brain, this one is the material brain, and this one is the one controlling both of them, where you in the upper room, Christ, are having the last supper